Welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2021 Championship winning season. As we are back with part 2 of your questions that have been sent through to us on the Twitter for us to meander and ponder and talk general rubbish about. Yeah. Straight back into them, Kev.
Yeah.
You had a good week?
Yeah. For you?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know where he.
That's all.
There we go. Philip Casey, if you could have signed any player that moved to a Super League club this winter, who would it have been and why? I've got 2 or 3.
I've got 2.
How'd it gone? Potentially, maybe the fullback who's gone to Hull KR.
Yeah, that's one of mine.
The halfback who went to Huddersfield. And potentially James Bentley who went to Leeds as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I were actually pick one, it'd be Lachlan. I don't want to stunt Jack Wellesby's growth and development. But I think another year of Lachlan, as apparently he was offered, would have been great for us. So I'd go Lachlan.
But yeah, maybe that shows the standard of players that have been getting signed and moved about Super League, that the ones that you'd want in your side are the ones that we've actually lost, maybe due to salary cap constraints ourselves, but we've done a good job of replacing them. The only other potential signing I potentially would have liked to have seen was Tom Lynham, who went to Wakefield.
Well, so he couldn't keep injuring some of our players.
So he could run the water on.
I wouldn't trust him not to drop it.
Comedy effect would have been superb. But yeah, I think that one's that answered.
Yeah, there's no one.
Sorry, can I just say, I hope Philip and I'm assuming that's his partner was on a fancy dress. So.
Why?
Because they're dressed as Mary and Joseph.
Listen, what they get up to is their own business, David. It's no business of ours.
I'm assuming it's Mary and Joseph. It is the season, after all.
Or is it Jesus?
What were we going to say, Kev?
Or is it Jesus? Could be Eddie Gardner. Anyway, move on. I was going to say, with regards to signings, I've had a quick look through, and there's probably some NRL signings who've come over who I don't know enough about. That's why I'd go with Lachlan Cooke, because we know what he's about. We know he can play in this league. We know he's good enough. We know how effective he is and how influential he is. So that's why I go for him, because he's just going to slot into that Hull KR team, and he should make them better.
We're going to have made some cracking signings. Patrick McGoo.
Yeah.
Krusty Cake. And Ramon Silva, who just sounds like a WWE wrestler.
Well, he's got a black belt in some kind of martial arts, hasn't he?
If his nickname isn't Razor, there's something seriously wrong. Hey, Chico. That was me Razor Ramon impression. Again, kids, right. If you weren't born in the 80s and you didn't watch WWF in the 90s, you're not going to get that one.
Well, I was born in the 80s and I didn't watch WWF in the 90s because I had a life.
Did you have Sky?
Yeah.
You didn't watch Razor Ramon?
I didn't.
With his little toothpick.
I've absolutely no idea who the fella is. To be quite honest, I couldn't give a flying either. Move on. Next question.
Who do you predict to be next off the Saints production line to cement their place in the match day squad? I think this is a real tough one because
I do.
For the youngsters that we've got in the squad, a lot of their opportunities are going to come through maybe injuries, squad rotation. I know they've got high hopes for a couple of the young lads coming through. Lewis Baxter, I think it was the 19s player of the year this year. He's obviously been given a squad number. The likes of Taylor Pemberton. We've gone and signed Daniel Hill from Widnes, who'd made 6 or 7 appearances for them last season, and the club have seen the potential of and have gone in and scooped him off from our Widnes production line, which has brought us all our greats such as Mark Percival and the likes. Good to see Widnes doing great work for us once again, Kev.
Yeah, definitely. But who do I predict to be the next one? I mean, I don't think Jake Winfield's cemented his place in that matchday squad yet, has he? Judging by squad numbers, him getting the 19 shirts, I think that's usually a good indicator of where they are in the thinking. He went out on loan a couple of times last year, Ben Davis. We had loads of people, loads of Salford fans replying to us about Ben Davis, saying he looks absolutely exceptional. I think he's another Widnes lad as well. And he can play centre and second row, so it wouldn't surprise me to. I'm going to go with Wingfield or Davis being the next ones. But it's tough, isn't it? It's tough to answer that, because it could be that we need a fullback, it could be that we need a winger, and as you say, the likes of Danny Hill comes in and bosses it, and he's always in and thereabouts.
Okay. Do you think Saints will make it 4 in a row? Yes.
Yes, why not? Come on, let's be confident.
And which player will show the biggest improvement in 2022? I am going to go with Jack Welsby.
Okay.
I'm saying that coming from his young player of the year, because I think the talent he's got, I think we've only scraped the surface of. And I think now he's going to go into fullback. He's going to be potentially, over the next year or two, a Man of Steel contender.
I will go Sione Bitautia. I think we started seeing some of the best of Sione towards the end of last season. And I think if he marries that into a full season of that form, he will be one of the best second rowers in the competition by far.
Anyone else?
Possibly Iggy Parsi again. Iggy was good in spells, and with a year over here under his belt and him settled a little bit more. I think Iggy could show a little bit more for us, and you'd hope to kind of see a little bit more of that, especially when it starts drying up. I know it's a cliche, but seeing him offloading and taking packs on toe to toe, so possibly Iggy. Lewis Dodd, bit obvious, but he's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And while we know what he can do, I think him kind of being free of the shackles of or being the main man, I always say he's got that personality. It's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. And I think he's got, and I don't want to use the word ego, but I think he's got, I think swagger's the better word. I think he's got that swagger. So hopefully he'll show massive improvement as well in 2022 when he's leading us about week in, week out.
Kev, have I sung you a new Jack Welsby song?
Oh, God. Yes, you've sent me voice notes of you singing the new Jack Welsby song. Usually I'm reluctant to play him.
It's good though, isn't it?
It's okay. Jack Welsby's got about 4 songs though.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so.
Johnny Lomax needs one. One that's sung all the time.
To be fair, that song would actually fit Johnny Lomax as well.
Well, there we go then.
We'll work on that one. Chris Harvey, what's your opinion on the playoff system? How many teams should make the playoffs, and who do you think will make the 2022 playoffs? That's a tough question, isn't it? I think with a 12-team league,
the fewer the better.
Yeah, but I'm not sure there is just reward for finishing top in that system. The only if you went to a top 4 and you did first versus fourth and second versus third, you'd only get a reward. You play fourth, and the only disadvantage the team in fourth has got is playing away from home.
Yeah, and that's it. And sometimes that week off can be good for you. Other times it can be bad for you. When we've got the 5, I think 5 is the optimum at the minute, because you do get that reward of a week off and home, and you get the chance of losing a game, don't you, in the playoffs if you finish top? Do you? I don't know, because we just win them at the minute, don't we? So it doesn't really matter.
Kev, that's so arrogant, Kev.
Good. Fine line between arrogance and confidence. Just said that. I think 5 at the minute is fine. I think the just reward of finishing top is fair enough. I mean, people speak about first past the post. I'd love to see that, but it's never going to happen, because the grand final now, keeping you up there, Dave, were you yawning? Keeping you, it's so ensconced in the rugby league calendar now, and it's such a big event. I can't see us going away from that, and I can't see us even trying to make league leaders. I mean, stop calling it the League Leaders Shield for a start, because that's terrible. But I can't see league leaders becoming champions and us having a premiership again, which, whether that's just reward, whether you do get full rewards for finishing top, you do in the playoff system, but I do think there should be more for being the most consistent team over the season. And who do I think will make the playoffs? I'm naming the top 4 today. I think your other one last week, whenever. I think
stop. People will thinking. People will start thinking we're filming these back to back and just spreading them out.
No, my white top's in the wash now. I think I'm gonna go Hull KR for my 5th team in the playoffs.
Who do you think Ganson will pick to ref next year's grand final, Moore or Kendall?
Whichever one's performing the best.
Correct. Who do you want to replace KW if he leaves after next season? That's a bigger debate, isn't it?
It is a bigger debate, that.
If we come back to that
don't know. Yeah, don't know at the minute, but we'll come back to it, yeah.
Now we'll get into the good questions, Kev.
Here we go.
Digestive, rich tea or custard cream? Dry it, dunk it, and throw away for good. So throw away for good has got to be rich tea.
Rubbish. Absolute talking rubbish. Digestive, out.
Not having it. You can dunk a digestive for a little bit longer. The problem with a rich tea is dunk and it collapses.
It doesn't. Digestives, though, are put all flaky bits in the bottom of your brew.
No.
Not
well,
interesting.
Have you ever had Yorkshire Tea's biscuit brew?
Yes.
Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. We don't drink any other tea in our house apart from that.
Well, to be fair, I drink coffee, so it doesn't really matter.
Fantastic
to me,
stuff. How do you eat a custard cream, Kev?
Usually by biting into it and just eating it.
You don't take one of the surfaces off, scrape away the custard cream in the middle, and then dunk the other bit?
No, because I'm not a pervert. But I can tell you are from that response. Yeah.
What's your favourite? Oh, I know Dave. Sorry, you started us off now, Mr. Dillon. What's your favourite biscuit, Kev?
I'm quite partial to a bourbon biscuit.
Oh.
I like the fact that it's chocolatey, you see.
Especially when you can get such a big packet from somewhere like Home Bargain.
Yeah, for 20p.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Ooh. I quite like an Oreo.
What a surprise, Mr. America over here.
Or if I had a packet of them, I could probably go for a full packet of fruit shortcakes.
No, fair enough, yeah. Yeah. I like them that you get at Christmas, though, that always come with the pink wafer, you know, the full packet.
Pink Panther biscuits. How can I forget pink wafer, Pink Panthers?
Well, that's it. You go round them all, but you always got to try and get a pink wafer before everybody else does.
Well, we've had a World Cup of shirts on Redvee previously. Is it about time we had a World Cup of biscuits?
Possibly. Hey, listen, we're gonna do the World Cup of away shirts soon. Might be over Christmas that we just do the World Cup of biscuits based on whatever I've got here.
It'll have to be a World Cup of biscuits that can be bought from Home Bargain.
Home Bargains, right?
I'll
go in and have a look. Home Bargains. You've had 70% of your life to get the name right. It's Home Bargains, not Home and Bargain. It changed when Everton won the FA Cup in 1995. Sorted out.
No, sorry. Sorry. That was the same. Right, move on.
Anyway, custard cream had dry eat. Rich tea had dunk. Digestive, chuck it away. Not interested.
That's why you live in Widnes. Now a serious one. We've recruited well for next season, but beyond that, what does the future hold? More trophies.
Yeah,
that's how we work.
Yeah. I think one thing that I suppose it's to kind of take the mood down, the temper everything, that the future will probably hold other teams catching us up. Because that's
sorry. Home and Bargain. Yes, it did change in 1995, but it's still colloquially referred to by its original name through the Merseyside area. We are Merseyside. It is Home and Bargain.
I live in leafy Cheshire, so you can jog on. Have a look. What does it say on the front of that Saint shirt? Does it say Home and Bargain?
It will do when I take my marker pen.
Fair enough. Back to the question.
I don't think the fuss long as we all shop there, which we do. So,
well, exactly. Yeah, it's right next to the stadium as well, so it's not too bad. Yeah, I think other teams will start catching us up. I just think the cyclical nature of sport will means that's inevitable to happen. You don't usually get one team being as dominant for, say, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, especially not in a fully full-time capacity.
You say that, Kev, but Saints are probably the team throughout the Super League era, never missing out on the playoffs, never finishing outside the top 4. And you look at the way our squad is constructed now and the amount of young players coming through. Out of all of Super League, we are probably in the best position to continue a run of success from this point.
We are, but you look at the likes of Lachlan Coote leaving, you look at the likes of Theo Farge leaving and James Bentley and salary cap constraints.
But then you look at what we've recruited to replace that and who's going to take the place.
Yeah,
we've just won a grand final with a 19-year-old halfback.
Yeah, thanks for interrupting before I've made my point, though.
I have. There you go.
But you do this, and because you're only going as fast as your slowest team because of the salary cap, you will lose players. It's obvious that you will lose players, whether that's to the NRL, whether it's to rugby union, whether it's to other Super League teams. And I think once other teams, and you've mentioned them on these videos, like Hull KR, having that opportunity to kind of excuse me, having that opportunity to build and grow and kind of push on a little bit. That's what other teams should be looking at now. And if they can take some of our better players and we can still replace them with very, very good youngsters, it does then mean that it's not a race to the bottom, but you're only going as quick as your slowest runner.
Okay. Does Roby's retirement free up a marquee spot for Morgan Knowles to commit long term and maybe become captain?
Don't know is the answer to that, really. I don't know who our marquee player is or are. I'd hope Morgan Knowles commits long term because I think he is key. I think he's gone past the most underrated player. When people see that, I'm kind of confused by it now because he's such a key player to us. You see the intensity drop when he goes off defensively. Could he add a bit more going forward? Possibly, but he is such a good link player. He's so good with his hands. He is potentially a future captain. But I suppose you think, well, who's next captain after Roby? Is it Lomax, probably? Then do you go, who's next after him? Walmsley? if Walmsley's still going round. Makinson, if Makinson's still going round. Percival, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, can we keep Regan? I mean, that's the tough one. That's the tough one for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's only signed for another 12 months. So I think a lot will depend on what Regan wants to do with his career. Does he potentially want to move to Union? Where do we stand in terms of salary cap? Being able to spend on wingers and backs, and obviously maintaining the standards. And could it be another case potentially in a year's time where we lose him to a Leeds or a Warrington, etc., who can potentially come in and offer massive money that we're not able to meet? But then does Regan just like winning trophies? And if he does, then he'll stay with us. There's a lot to it, isn't it? And in a salary cap sport, when you're at the top of the game, this is where you find that you can't always keep who you want to keep. Yeah, there's a lot of factors involved.
Yeah, there are. I think you're right on that. Nothing further to add to that. I think you've covered it pretty well though.
What do we need to bring in? Home and bargain kiosks at the ground, so we can buy a 50p bottle of Pepsi and then spend another £5 on stuff from behind the kiosk that I didn't realise I needed until I seen it.
Imagine all the tubes of Pringles and stuff like that are a bit bars of Milka.
Pork crackling. Oh.
Do you need a moment?
I need to go home and bargain to go and get some goodies in.
On the field, what do we need to bring in? Probably towards the end of next year. Well, which probably started, aren't we? I'd imagine. I think you look at your 1 year deals that have been given to the likes of Louis and the likes of Kyler Moore, and I think we'll be looking at recruiting in the forwards, prop forwards. Looking forward to seeing Dan Norman and see if he can get a little bit of game time this year.
Is he one we missed out on an earlier question?
Oh, possibly the
cementing in the squad.
Improvement. Yeah, definitely. That's it. He's excuse me. He's been moved up one squad number. Now, as I say, I think that's a kind of level of where he's currently at.
That's the force of Dan Norman fan base to buy a new top because his numbers changed.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, listen, you want to see improvement from him because you don't want to have to go out and buy a couple of new props. You want to be able to turn around and say, well, actually, we've got Walmsley, we've got Matty Lees, we've got Parsi, and we've got Dan Norman, who's stepped into the front row and is wrecking like a wrecking ball, like Alex Walmsley is. And you can see him building and building and building on that because he's a huge human being. So yeah, he's probably somebody we missed out, but I think we may well be looking at forward recruitment, I'd imagine, towards the end of next season. Can't believe we're talking about that already.
I think this is a good question to end on for this episode on whether a person will ever be born who can swim faster than a shark. How fast is a shark?
Yeah, I don't know. Right, I'm going to Google this.
Well, obviously obviously faster than humans because they keep getting eaten.
How fast can a shark swim? Miles per hour, right? Oh, it can. The maximum speed, according to Google, is 50 kilometers an hour. A great white can do 56 kilometers an hour.
The maximum speed of a human is only 6 miles per hour, and that was Michael Phelps.
No, then.
And a short fin Mako Sharp on another hand can hit top speeds of 60 miles an hour. Can you imagine somebody swimming at 60 miles an hour? They'd be setting the speed cameras off left, right, and centre around the pool.
I didn't know they had them round us. Sharks move on average at about 5 miles an hour. So it depends. If the shark's not trying, then people have been born.
Does it depend on what type of shark it is then?
Yes, it does.
But then maybe
A
if the
lazy
person
one.
swimming disguised themselves as another shark, so the shark didn't start chasing them.
You've really thought about this, haven't you?
But I think we're gonna have to err on the side of the caution and say no, John. They won't.
Yeah. No, I don't think they will. Not unless they're born with an onboard motor strapped to the backside.
Well, that's going to be painful bringing that one out.
Just hope it's not switched on.
Right, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you next week for another episode of Redvee TV where we tackle all of the important questions. Catch you soon.